Alright, it is the end of E3 Day 0. Sony just wrapped up, so let's recap everything that happened today at Microsoft, Ubisoft, and Sony. Let's begin with Microsoft. I thought they had a pretty stellar show. I thought they had a really good show last year too, but they had a lot of really cool announcements. Not a lot of surprises, but like a lot of very cool stuff. They showed the Xbox One X, which is basically a slimmer version of the Xbox One. It's not the big new one. Gears of War 4 had a demo on stage which looked whatever. They also announced their Xbox Play Anywhere campaign. I keep on forgetting what exactly it's called, but basically anything that's on Xbox One you can play on PC, and it's cross-buy and cross-play, which is cool. I definitely think the Nintendo and Sony side of things is a little bit cooler because they have consoles and portables. This is a PC and an Xbox. And it's just kind of a weird thing to me. If you have the console, why not the PC? But if you want the PC, why would you want the Xbox? I don't know. It's just kind of weird. I guess you can have a portable laptop. Anyway, let's see what else. Forza, don't really care. Kind of surprised that Final Fantasy 15 came around. I didn't think it was going to be at E3 at all on one of the stages. But it was the first time on Xbox One. I was like, oh yeah, it's coming out for that thing. And it was kind of a cool demo against the Titan, even though he's been in a lot of trailers. But we got to see that and looked, kind of cool. Minecraft came out. It did not... My prediction was Minecraft 2 was going to be announced and HoloLens would come out again, and it didn't. This time they're having a friendly update where the PC, Xbox, and mobile platforms all talk to each other. And freaking John Carmack has like a VR thing. He's like, oh, let's play Minecraft together. It was just one of the cringiest things just like so far of E3. It was just like so lame, and I don't know what they're really pushing Minecraft. I mean, Minecraft is Minecraft. It doesn't really need to sell itself. It's been out for ages. There needs to be a new thing. I don't know. One of the biggest kind of surprises was Inside is coming out. And that's coming out on June 29th on the Xbox One. And they didn't really have a really big trailer. It was just like, hey, it's actually coming out. And it's kind of like a weird thing. It didn't seem to have like a lot of fanfare, but I'm looking forward to it because I like Limbo quite a bit. Really cool thing. Of course, I don't have an Xbox or PC, so I won't be playing that unless it gets ported at some point. There's a bunch of other indie games in there, like a slide reel. Not a lot went into that. We Happy Few looks, I don't know, interestingly decrepit and odd. Didn't really do anything for me, but whatever. I really hated Gwent, but I guess that's getting a standalone release in September in a beta. Whatever. Tekken 7 was on stage, and it had Akuma versus Hayachi, and I really thought this was actually Street Fighter or Tekken Cross Street Fighter, which has been in like a lament for a long time. It was actually just Tekken 7, and they're just showing off that Akuma will be in the game, so at least it's kind of crossing a little bit, but yeah, that game's coming in 2017, whatever. Dead Rising 4, Frank West from the first game is coming back, so that's kind of cool. They'll be launching this holiday, and they showed off Scaleborn's 4-player co-op, which they kind of teased at the end of the Gamescom, I believe, single-player stuff. That looked kind of intense, like a Monster Hunter kind of huge boss battle. The scale definitely was cool. It's still not getting like the feels for that game. Neither is Sea of Thieves. They showcased their gameplay with a bunch of like Twitch and YouTube players, and more popular, I'm sure, than I am. I don't know if they are YouTube players, but I assume the way they acted, it was just kind of another cringe-worthy, like, I don't know. And it really wasn't like showcasing the game. It was just kind of, this is the game. They didn't really explain how you do anything with it. It was just kind of a weird way to show off the gameplay. I don't know. It was kind of weird. State of Decay 2, another zombie game. Halo Wars 2. That's coming out February 21st, 2017. But there is a beta going up today, lasting all the way till June 20th. So that's pretty cool for people. And then they ended the show with Project Scorpio, which is the actual next Xbox One. And they confirmed it'll be for holiday 2017. And that all Xbox One games will work on it, and all previous ones. There's not going to be an exclusive Xbox One Scorpio game. So that's cool. It'll be in line from what we have heard from Sony, of course, for the Neo. So that was Xbox. Let's move on to the next thing, which was Ubisoft. And in my memory, I think Ubisoft is usually about an hour, hour and a half. It's one of the shorter shows because it is just, a publisher. But this one was 2 hours, and I was getting really frustrated watching my stream because it kept on going in and out, and the quality kept on dipping from like 140 to 1080p and somewhere in between. It was a hassle to watch and kind of made my enjoyment of it a little bit slanted. But there was some really cool things in there. Crazy French opening with Just Dance 2017, and they showed the 4-player co-op for Ghost Recon Wildlands, which looked interesting. It definitely felt a little canned, just like the original Division gameplay with all the co-op people. I'm really pumped for South Park The Fractured But Whole. Just some more actual gameplay with that. It looks like it's more of a tactical game. You actually move around the battlefield, it's not just turn-based. So it looks cool. I love me some turn-based stuff, and I love me some South Park, and that looks just awesome, and just the small clips they had were just hilarious and very on point, as they always are. Eagle Flight, that was the Oculus Rift Eagle game that was kind of like Assassin's Creed, but not. It's very colorful. That was also kind of another cringeworthy thing, and just I think it went on way too long. It definitely did not need to have that, and also since we're not in VR, it's kind of hard to really demo it. It didn't look a crazy thing. The same goes for Star Trek VR, which is Star Trek The Bridge Crew. They had a bunch of Star Trek people on there, and they're talking like, oh man, this is so great, this is just like the show, or something like that. And I don't know, people are operating in the bridge, and it's whatever. It looked like a very demo-y kind of VR game, so nothing so far has impressed me with VR. Everything looks like weird, goofy things that you find on Steam anyway, like Surgeon Simulator or Goat Simulator, where it's like all kind of fun environments to play around in, but nothing you want to like sink your teeth into, I'm kind of more pumped now for For Honor. At first I thought it was just multiplayer, but now they announced there's going to be a campaign, and it actually looked really cool. I'm surprised that it's not coming out until Valentine's Day of next year, so good luck For Honor. My time will be sinking into Persona 5, so it's probably going to get pushed back because, Persona 5 definitely has more of an outreach than Ubisoft games. No, that's probably false. That's the opposite probably was going to happen. Grow Home's getting a sequel called Grow Up. I did not like Grow Home at all, so I don't really care about Grow Up. Kind of excited for this next one, even though the way it isn't what I want. It's called Trials of the Blood Dragon. It released at the show. It is a cross between Trials and Blood Dragon, and there's some shooting and some Trials bike stuff, but I want just like a 2D Blood Dragon thing, or like a Blood Dragon in another universe, like Watch Dogs or Assassin's Creed or whatever. Speaking of Assassin's Creed, they got some behind the scenes footage for the movie. I still think it's gonna be bad, even though some of the things kind of look cool. I don't have any faith with video game movies. I don't think the people making them have like the right idea. And then bouncing off of that, Watch Dogs 2 had a pretty big demo on stage, and I can't get excited for that either. It's just, I like the first one. I don't know what's, it's kind of cool to have a black protagonist. That's actually really cool. It would have been amazing if it was like a black woman. And Aisha Tyler actually got a video game instead of like a cameo, as in the first Watch Dogs. But I guess she can host. I guess that's all she's good for to Ubisoft. But in terms of her hosting, she's always phenomenal. I don't know why people don't like her. She made a joke in the beginning that people don't like her. I think she's very genuine. She's very fast on her feet. I think she's a very lovely person. So that just something to throw in there. I guess there's going to be a Watch Dogs movie partnering up with Sony, which was another weird thing to announce. And the DLC is going to be exclusive to PlayStation, and they close the show with this game called Steep, which is a multiplayer open-world extreme sports game. And yeah, that's it. I think Ubisoft had a good show. I think it started off better than it ended. There's a lot of weird things in between there, not a lot of huge surprises. I think the biggest surprise for me was how my reactions changed for Honor. I really hope that turns into something really cool for single player. And last but not least, we have Sony. So I'm going to go through these pretty fast because I'm going to save my huge reactions for podcasts that we'll do after E3, highlighting all the, the best stuff and whatnot. But man, Sony nailed it. I don't know if that's the fanboy coming through me, but the Norse mythology reboot of God of War looks cool. I hope you don't play as Kratos, because he still seems like a dick. I don't know what the whole thing is, if that's a different Kratos, but he was using the Spartan powers, so I assume he went to, the Norse lands and then had a son, and now you're going to play as a son probably halfway through or something like that. Days Gone looks pretty rad. That kind of closed out the show, but first there was a trailer, and then it showed off later on. Which, zombies, sure. I thought it was The Last of Us at first, and then they said Days Gone, so I was like, oh, okay, interesting. Last Guardian, I predicted that it would be November. October is pretty dang close. Looks cool. Horizon Zero Dawn, that was a really cool on-stage demo. My opinion on that game has not changed. I think it looks awesome. I just want to play it. Detroit Become Human got like a gameplay trailer that showed the options of choice, which looked pretty cool. A very David Cage kind of game. Next, I don't know what to think. At first, I thought it was like an Until Dawn VR game or a PT spiritual successor, but no. It was Resident Evil for PS4 and PlayStation VR, which will launch on January 24th, 2017. That is so close to reveal. That is insane. It looks nothing like Resident Evil. It doesn't have any of the Resident Evil people. It says specifically 7, and then it morphed into Resident Evil / Biohazard, which is weird. I don't know what to think about this. Yeah, and they said October 13th will be the PlayStation VR date. Some of the VR things they showed, like Farpoint, the Star Wars Battlefront, the Batman Arkham, and the Final Fantasy 15 stuff, that looks cool for VR, except at the $400 for VR, even though that's the cheapest headset I think you can get, is still a lot of money. So if I happen to get like a review unit, that's the only way I'll be getting that, because I don't really need it to enjoy anything in my life, but I will say that the stuff they showed off was pretty cool. And Call of Duty Infinite Warfare's reveal did nothing for me for the trailer. Battlefield 1 is the one that really did it for me. And then they had the onstage demo, and I was like, wow, this thing looks really cool. What's this weird star shooter? I thought it was like a reboot of Warhawk or something like that. And then as soon as he took out the gun in space, I'm like, oh my god, this is Call of Duty, duh. I could not believe it. It changed my mind. Also, after that, I was so happy, not only for this reveal, but because I was like absolutely right. Crash Bandicoot 1, 2, and 3 are getting remastered on the PS4, but they didn't show anything. They just kind of teased. They had Crash Bandicoot be Sean Layton's shadow, and they had the music going, and I could not believe it. Crash will be in the new Skylanders this fall in October, but they didn't give a release for Crash Bandicoot. I think it's kind of a work in progress, probably not going to be happening for a while, probably maybe 2017. I kind of wish it would come out in September for the reveal of the 20th anniversary, but hey, at least they're making a remaster or whatever, so I'm pumped for that. And then Hideo Kojima came out not long after, and roaring applause. He revealed his new game called Death Stranding, and Norman Reedus is in it. I can't believe they got back together. That's so cool. The only thing that would make me happier if Guillermo del Toro walked on stage too. Yeah, but it looks like a really trippy game. I mean, it was, pretty much an in-engine kind of concept for what's going to happen. That game's not coming out until 2018 at the earliest, probably more like 2019. But if Sony, helps him and prods him along, gives him like a good team, I think that game could be coming out in 2018, but no sooner than that. And a lot of the rumors were that Sucker Punch, the infamous people, were making a Spider-Man game, but actually it turns out Insomniac is making a Spider-Man game, and it looks pretty cool. James Arnold Taylor, who does the voice for Ratchet, one of their games, sounds like he's Spider-Man. I'm not sure, but I think he's done Spider-Man before too, and it just looks cool. The one thing I don't like is the white design on his outfit, but a really good developer that I adore making a Spider-Man game could be really cool. I always want developers to make non-IP based things, and if they do anything, make a sequel. But I mean, I guess you could make an argument about what's better, a new AP or whatever. But either way, it looks pretty cool. And then, like I said, the show closed out with a live demo for Days Gone, and that was it. I mean, pound for pound, just game after game. No one coming on stage, really talking about anything, getting you like really hyped, like, oh, we're here. No weird skits. It was just game. And I liked that a lot. Few disappointments. I kind of wish I'd get surprised by Final Fantasy VII Remake or Kingdom Hearts 3, but I think they had a lot of stellar lineup there. And as far as all the press conferences, I think this was probably the best, and they kept a lot of secrets. And I think everything looks pretty cool. In terms of today, definitely was. So I'll get to something later about how I rank all the press conferences. But yeah, that is my take for today. So thank you for joining me, and continue to read my stuff on Examiner for my write-ups and more videos I will put out here in probably better formats than Raw, but again, I am tired, so I will venture off into Sleepland to hopefully see something cool from Nintendo tomorrow. Alright, see you then. Hey, did you know that you're watching the Reaction Examiner YouTube channel? That's me! You should subscribe! You should also subscribe and read my writing over on Examiner.com, where I write about video games. And hey, while you're at it, check out my Patreon, because I want to upgrade my YouTube channel to better and brighter things. And hey, speaking of YouTube channels, check out The Misadventures of Team Sexy Pants, where me and my best gal pal Matilda talk about putting things in the holes. It's a comedy sex podcast for the ages. I have a lot of other links as well, but you should go in the description notes below and you'll find all that cool stuff. For now, I'm just going to sit here a little bit longer while you decide what to click on. Subscribe.